Hey guys, we're getting started with our math lesson today. We're talking about more than, less than, greater than, less than, but I'm going to turn my camera down so that you can actually see my workspace in just a second. So we're going to get started with our subitizing cards. I'm going to show you the card and we'll go over them. So I'm going to show you the cards. Here's our first one. If you know them, shout them out at home. We'll go over them in just a second. All right. Some friends are coming on. That's great. And the idea is for the subitizing cards is just to do it as fast as you can to recognize the number. And we're just sticking from 0 to 10 right now. Some of them are tough. All right, so we're going to go over those real quick to see how many you got. If you kind of keep up with how many you got right, and just let me know how well you did. So that's 4. You can see the thumb is down, so that's 4. That's 7. You can see the 5 and the 2, that's 7. This one is 9, 2. This is 8, 10, a whole full tens frame, 1, 6, 3, circle. It has one continuous side, no corners, and it is a 2D shape. 7, 10, 4, a rectangle. It has 2 sides that are short and 2 sides that are long. It has 4 vertices, 4 corners, and it's a 2D shape. And 10, 2 whole hands, 10. Good job. I hope you did a good job with your math today. All right, so for today's lesson, you still need your counters, you still need your cup, and you need your numbers from 0 to 10. And I'm just going to kind of lay mine out so that I have a way to grab them quickly. The more organized you are, the easier it is to find everything. So I would highly suggest being as organized as you can be, because it can get to be a long time trying to get everything together. You will also need your notebook for today, and I'm going to show you what to do for that. You would do greater than, less than at the top, and then I divided it into 5 sections. We're going to do 2 together, and then I'm going to let you do 3 on your own. And I'm going to show you how to do the 2 together. So go ahead and get your notebook ready. I have my greater than, Gus the greater than, and Lucy the less. I have those cards. I also have the plain cards so that you can see those greater than, less than cards. And we're going to talk about how you would write this today. So, camera forward just a little bit. All right, so you can see my workspace. So I've got my counters. I'm going to put them in my cup. Shake and then spill. All right, so what I do is I'm going to put my white on this side and my red on this side. So I have, let's see, I have 4 red and I have 6 white. Slide those over just a little bit. So I have 4 red and 6 white. So I need to start with my red number, the one on this side. So 4, is it going to be more or less than 6? It's going to be less than. It's going to be Lucy less than. So I'm going to put her here because 4 is a smaller number than 6. 4 is less than 6. So how would I write that? Well, on my notebook, beside number 1, I would have my counters. First of all, I'd have my pencil, and I would write 4, and then I would draw my 4 red counters. just like that. And then I would leave a space in the middle, and I would come over here and I would write my 6, and I would draw my 6 white counters. Now, I'm not coloring in the white counters so that it can show that it's white, red and white. So that's how I would do it. Now, in order to write Lucy the less, when you're writing, you have to make the mouth open up toward the big number. So I'm going to make it a sideways V, but I'm going to make the small end point to the 4 and the big end point to the 6. And how I would read this as a sentence is 4 is less than 6. 4 is less than 6 because 4 is smaller than 6. There's more over here on the side with the 6. So 4 is less than 6. That's how I would write that. That's how I'm comparing the numbers. I'm looking at these two numbers and deciding which one has more, which one has less. Now, we always start with the red counters. That's just something I just do to keep it straight in my head. So I'm going to put my numbers back up. I'm going to move my cards. And I'm going to pick up my counters, and we're going to do a second one. Okay, we're going to do a second one. So I'm going to shake. And like I said before, if you get the same number like several times in a row, you can change it up. You can reshake and spill, however you want to do that. All right, so this time I have, let's look at my reds. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 red. And I have 3 white. So if we start with the red on this side, which one's more? Which one's less? Well, 7 has more than 3. So 7 will be greater than, more than 3. It's a bigger number. So I would come over here to my Gus the Greater. Remember, he opens up to the bigger number. So he's greater, 7 is greater than 3. The little number always goes at the small point, is pointing at the little number. The big mouth is opening up for the big mouth is opening up to the bigger number because it wants to eat the bigger number. And the smaller end is towards the smaller number. So 7 is greater than 3. 7 is greater than 3. So in my book, when I get ready to write, I'm going to write, first of all, I'm going to write my 7, and then I'm going to make my 3. So I've got my 7 and my 3. So I need to draw my 7, red, and my 3 white. And then I've got to draw, remember we're doing Gus the Greater. So I would make the big end open towards the 7, just like that. So we had a less than and then a greater than. And how I would read that is 7 is greater than 3. 7 is greater than 3. So we went over it yesterday. You've had 2 examples today. I want you to do 3 more on your own. I would love to see a video of you doing it, just to hear you say the word 7 is greater than 3, or do you say your problem, like we said 4 is less than 6. I want to hear you saying that because we need to practice using those terms greater than and less than, because that's going to be throughout all of your math life. You're going to use the terms greater than and less than. And greater just means more, and less means fewer or smaller number. So when you're looking at 2 numbers, like we had 7 and 3, 7 is bigger than 3. So how would I say that? Instead of using the word bigger, I can say 7 is more than 3. 7 is greater than 3. Greater means more. Or if I swap it around, I could say 3 is less than 7. 3 is fewer than 7, smaller, because 3 is a smaller number. So we're just basically taking our knowledge of those numbers from 0 to 10 and deciding which one's more, which one's less. Now, as you go on, like for kindergarten, it's just 0 to 10 that we're comparing the numbers. But when you go on first grade, second grade, your numbers are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so you have to really understand greater than and less than. So we're going to kind of park here this week. We're going to do some more greater than and less than. Hopefully I'm going to try to come up with some games that we can play with greater than or less than. I would love to have your input. If you have a fun game you want to play with that, maybe you can create a game you can play with your family with greater than or less than. But I want you guys to really think about what's important when you're looking at numbers is just knowing that a number, like, you know that 7's bigger than 3. You know there's a difference when you look at that number. You know that 4 is less than 6. You know that 10 is bigger than 5. You can see that automatically when you're looking at those numbers, no matter what's going on. That's number sense. That's why we do the subitizing cards. That's why we spend so much time on 0 to 10 in kindergarten, just really hounding that number sense, because it's important, because if you don't have that, every grade is going to be harder and harder and harder and harder to do. So I love you guys. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. If I have reading groups with you today, I will see you later today.